People of Earth, this is a warning. Gather up all houseplants and destroy them. Stuff them down trash compactors. Run over them with your cars, bikes, your tractors. Salt your tires beforehand.
Dad.
Uproot all trees.
Dad.
Hold on 1 second. Any artificial turf. Don't take any chances. If you
Okay.
are within range of my voice right now,
Okay.
let your dogs pee on anything and everything outside that is green or has the potential to turn green anytime in the near or distant future.
Okay, Dad.
What?
Dad.
I'm trying.
Relax.
Did you not watch the movie I watched?
I did.
Why aren't you panicking?
My God, Dad.
It's Day of the Triffids, folks. Killer plants out to get you.
Welcome back. This is the first episode of season 4.
The D's.
I'm ready.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
What's it from?
Sesame Street.
Yeah. Our 4th season. It's amazing.
I know.
I'm
Incredible.
excited.
I know.
And we got a good one to start out with.
No.
All right, 1962, Day of the Triffids. This has a cool movie poster. I remember seeing this. It made me really want to see it when I was a kid.
Yeah, isn't that it? Right there.
That is it. It's pretty cool, right? It's
makes
a
it
little
look-
deceiving.
Yeah.
It makes it look a lot more exciting than the movie might turn out to be. But we'll get to
Yeah,
that.
because I remember, I think the first time I saw that, I was like, ooh, wait, what's that? That seems
Intriguing.
interesting.
Right.
And then when I watched the movie, I was like, all right, is this the right thing?
Yeah.
I don't think we're watching the right thing here.
Well, let's recap this sucker for everybody listening.
So the movie starts off with our credits and London being hit with the crazy meteor shower. It kind of starts off like Creature from the Black Lagoon, doesn't it? With a little bit of astrology in there.
Yeah. Yeah, Creature schooled us with like a geology and evolution lesson in the first 2 minutes. Day of the Triffid kind of gives us Botany 101.
Yeah. So the meteors all seem to be burning up before any impact, and it's embraced as a spectacular must-see event. One guy who can't see the event is a naval officer, Bill Mason, who is our main character, and he's under wraps because he recently had an eye operation.
Yes, he's in the hospital.
Yeah, but the good news is that he's getting his bandages taken off the next morning. Miles away and offshore, scientists Tom and Karen are living in a lighthouse.
Yeah.
That seems fun. I want to live in a lighthouse.
I would
now.
live in a lighthouse
Yeah.
for like 6 weeks. I think it might get a little desolate after that.
Yeah. And they're hearing about all the chaos happening on the radio. So Tom is only interested in his next bottle of scotch and getting off the rock they're stuck on. This is all going to be very important, guys.
Yeah, stay with us. So Bill wakes up the next day in the hospital and unwraps himself since the doctors haven't shown up to do it. And as he's getting his eyes adjusted again, he can see, that's the good thing, but he finds that the hospital is empty and decimated. And everyone in London who watched the meteor shower is now blind.
So Bill walks around London and saves a little girl who can also see because she slept through the meteor shower in a train compartment overnight.
Yeah, so a train
Don't know
like
how.
crashes into the station because I guess the conductor went blind, and all the passengers are sort of spilling out of the train, and one of the blind passengers, because they're all blind, he finds that this little girl can see. So he's like, oh, I can take advantage of this. She can get me to where I need to go. But she doesn't want to go with him. He's a stranger. So Bill comes up and sort of rescues her, right?
Yeah. She somehow slept through this, and
Yeah, I guess she fell asleep during the
Yeah.
meteor shower, so her eyes were closed.
I fell asleep during New Year's Eve.
I thought you were going to
fireworks,
say,
didn't
I fell asleep during Day of the Triffids.
I wanted to. I mean,
We'll get there. So this is Susan, right? The little girl?
yeah. And they team up because they seem to be the only two people in all of London whose eyes still work.
Yeah. It's weird that more people I guess when there's a meteor shower going on,
Yeah, like
you want to see it. But I would think that there would be at least more kids who were probably sleeping through it like Susan was. But anyway, look, I'm not gonna pull threads. You do get a couple of pretty freaky scenes of ships being captained by blind navigators and a blind stewardess trying to keep blind passengers calm on an airplane as they realize that the pilots are probably blind now too. I guess everyone went to work the next day and then went blind, because I wouldn't wake up blind and say, I got to get to work. First of all, I wouldn't know what time it was.
yeah.
Secondly, I'm like, I'm going to call in blind today, I guess. I mean, not to make light of it, but my work ethic isn't that strong that I would need to hoof it to work if I can't see.
Those scenes were freaky and all, but for the trains and ships, they could just turn their engines off.
Yes, that's true.
But the plane's in the air after this whole thing goes down.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be in one of those.
Even in first class? Nice in there. Get that extra leg room. Free drinks, snacks.
No. So the meteor, in addition to making everyone go blind, has embedded killer plants all over the place. Bill and Susan encounter some of them and escape their way to a chateau in the country where Mr. Coker and Christine are taking care of the blind people of the village. Very, very nice. Very nice.
Beautiful place in the country. For those who can see it.
No. And Mr. Coker, you might remember him from the 1951 version of Scrooge.
Yeah, with Alistair Sim.
Yeah, with the great Alistair Sim, which we talked about in one of our bonus episodes
just
from
recently.
last season.
Yeah, Mervyn Johns. He played Bob Cratchit in the Alistair Sim Christmas Carol.
And so at the chateau, Christine introduces Susan to Tina, a kind woman who is very good with children.
Yeah, we liked her.
I loved her.
Tina was Serling's favorite, so if you listen to this podcast, you know what's going to happen to Tina, because anyone that Serling likes in a movie who's a pretty girl, who's nice,
We always...
they don't make it very far. Anyway,
Poor Tina.
so the characters aren't there long before the Triffids attack, crashing easily through the chateau's lovely French doors. Bill, Susan, and Christine then hightail it out of there and to like a Spanish naval base. This movie's like a European travelogue. We're all over the map on this.
Meanwhile, remember that couple in the lighthouse?
Yes. So Tom and Karen are doing their best to find a way to figure the creatures out physiologically, if we can use that term when we're talking about plants. I think we can.
Yeah, and they're basically looking for a way to kill them because you can't chop them down with an axe. You can't burn them.
Right.
And they also regenerate, of course, because they're plants.
Yeah, so if you chop them up, they're just going to grow new pieces. And the pieces that you chop up are going to turn into new creatures. And so back in Spain, where our main characters fled to, they meet up with Luis and Teresa at this naval base.
And they're about to have a baby. Teresa.
Well, you know, Luis did his part. And this was cool, right?
Yeah, because Teresa was born blind, and Luis is getting used to it because he was recently blinded by the Triffid meteors. So Bill wires the fence around the base, connecting it to the generator.
Yeah, and finally, we get another electrified fence in one of our horror movies. So we had 2 in season 2 in the Bees. So they tried to electric fence Gojira, and they tried to electric fence Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Neither time did it work. But it kind of does here for a little while. At least it doesn't fail miserably or give the monsters like extra power or something.
And I think isn't there an electric fence in Cabin in the Woods too, right?
Yes, there is.
Yeah, right?
That grid enclosure thing.
Yeah.
Great cat. I'm so proud of you, Serling.
Thank you.
You're almost ready to host this thing on your own.
So Susan figures out that the plants might be attracted to sound. Mm-hmm. And this could be a pretty big problem with a newborn baby added to our cast of characters. Yes. But luckily they traveled to the naval base in a circus car. That came why a circus car?
Well, it turns out it's going to come in pretty handy.
Yeah, because it can project music through a loudspeaker. It really reminded me of an ice cream truck.
Especially that crappy ice cream truck in our neighborhood that we hear incessantly throughout, April to November in L.A. You hear that dumb ice cream truck around town.
It goes, how does it go? It goes...
And then we made up lyrics, right?
Yeah.
So how'd it go? We've
we've
got really crappy
no,
ice cream and some non-delicious treats. In fact, nothing that we offer is any good to eat. There are boogers in our toppings, and our cones are made from snot. Should you ever buy our products? No, sir, you should not.
No, sir, you
Should
should not.
Say, where'd you learn how to do that?
Where'd you learn how to do that?
Albums? All right.
All right, so back to the story.
Yeah,
no more ice cream.
That was fun for all of us, but
Yeah, so Susan figures out that the plants might be attracted to sound. So Bill drives off, blaring a carnival tune, and the Triffids follow, allowing the rest of them to escape in Luis's truck.
yeah. Then they all have to figure out how to meet up again. But while that's going on, our lighthouse lovers have barricaded themselves in because the Triffids are on full attack, trying to rip their way inside. And after a while, they can't hold them back any longer. The Triffids are in, and Tom and Karen retreat up the spiraling staircase of the lighthouse with the monsters close behind. They get to the top. They're fighting. They have nowhere else to go. And then they figure out how to kill him.
And the thing how they kill them is by...
No, don't tell them. Are you crazy? We don't do any spoilers before we play the trailer.
You do that sometimes.
No.
Trailer.
The day of the Triffids. When terror rained from the sky. When the Earth orbits into a nightmare. When the solid world of everyday reality disintegrates. And the whole population is driven by fear towards insanity. The day of the Triffids. When destruction closes in from every side.
Is he blind too?
It's going to be starvation, fire, pestilence. Anyone caught in the middle of it doesn't stand a chance. I think we ought to get out of here and go on to Spain.
How can you know it's any better there?
I don't.
Doesn't seem to have any central nervous system.
Then how does it move?
All plants move. And they don't usually pull themselves out of the ground and chase you.
You have never been married?
No.
Not that I
Guess
know
I've never been in
of.
one spot long enough to get caught.
And now you are saddled with a family.
The day of the Triffids, when law and order are overwhelmed in an avalanche of terror.
Are those like bubbles or
Sounds like someone's making space coffee.
space coffee?
What would you give recommended age for this?
10.
So a kid needs to be 10 years old to watch this.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's not that inappropriate. It doesn't really have that much foul language in it.
No, I don't think there's any
Yeah.
bad language in it.
And there aren't really any gory scenes to this. So
I said 8.5. I mean, this is a tame movie for an average sophisticated kid. And it might be a good introduction to decent sci-fi horror for younger audiences, especially if you want to go a little off the beaten trail with them. You know, go Thing from Another World, go It Came from Outer Space, go Invasion of the Body Snatchers, sure, all those. But then you veer a little to the left, squeeze in a little green slime, slice of Planet of the Vampires, bit of this. You hear what I'm screaming. Smell what I'm baking, right? So should we say 9? Compromise somewhere in the middle?
yeah, let's do
9 and a quarter, technically, would be?
Yeah.
All right, 9 and a quarter. So if you're 9 and a quarter,
Go watch.
go watch. Right now!
Damn. I love that theme, you know, because I wrote it.
And played it.
I wrote it and played it.
All right, deep dive on Day of the Triffids. So, look, this isn't a wall-to-wall thrill fest, especially by modern standards. So there may be a reason why this movie was a little tough to find for us.
Yeah, we had to watch it on YouTube. It was very blurry.
Yeah, not my favorite way to take in a movie. But all that being said, the more I think about this movie, the more I've been kind of turning it over in my head, the more I respect it. I'm not saying the more I like it.
I do like the concept. I like the acting in some scenes. I like the effects that it had on me.
Yeah, some of it was pretty groan-worthy. The creature effects, not top-notch, mid-lower notch. But mix all that around the old horror movie blender, and there's some good stuff that floats to the top for me. What's your one-word review?
You go first.
All right. My one-word review for Day of the Triffids is valiant.
What does that mean?
It tries. It makes a good effort, and elements of it are pretty successful. The acting's good, like you said. Some of the creeping plant sequences, like before they get to the actual full-on shots of the plant creatures like attacking and consuming people, those are pretty decent and pretty creepy. And it has some fundamental pillars of good sci-fi horror. So something otherwise benign turns against us by some force that we were unprepared for. Yeah. So I like that. It almost gets me, and it tries pretty hard, and there are some solid elements to it.
So my one word is peculiar, because
that fits.
Yeah,
why peculiar?
Like, there's no reason to be afraid of plants, like
unless you're a fly and there's a Venus flytrap around. But it is interesting. Like, there are carnivorous plants, right? So I wonder if this movie was any more or less peculiar than some of the other sci-fi horror stuff that came out in 1962. What do we got?
So we have Tales of Terror.
Tales of Terror.
Night Creatures.
Okay. Don't know these so far.
Cape Fear.
Oh, Cape Fear. They remade that in the 90s.
Are they afraid of a cape?
Yeah, someone buys a new silk cape, and it's terrifying. No, it's cape like a body of land in the water.
The Brain.
Okay. So these are some peculiar sounding movies.
Tower of London. London.
Right. So some British terror going on.
Yeah, The Witch's Mirror.
Okay.
And The Brainiac.
I wouldn't say this is a great year for horror, would you?
I would, yeah. Because we have some that I'm saving for the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what else?
The Bloody Vampire.
Okay. That bloody vampire?
The Carpet of Terror.
Okay.
Slaughter of the Vampires.
Okay.
Hands of a Stranger. And now we're getting into some good ones.
Finally.
The Terror of Mr. Maboose, which has Goldfinger in it.
Oh, Gert Frobe.
Yes.
Yeah. We don't know if it's good. We just were excited that Goldfinger was in a horror movie.
Yeah. The Phantom of the Opera.
Which one? The remake? It's probably the Herbert Lom,
yes,
the Hammer one.
It is.
We like that one. That's the best mask in any Phantom of the Opera.
Yes. And we have Carnival of Souls.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
Yes, it is.
No, I'm glad you agree, but you haven't seen it. But that is a good one. So a couple of good entries for 1962.
Yeah.
And yes, a couple of peculiar entries. Carnival of Souls is kind of a peculiar movie. Pluses.
All right.
So let's talk about what we liked about the movie.
I liked Bill waking up in the cleared out hospital. It set the mood.
Yeah, I liked that too. That would be a freaky thing to go through. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it set the stage. I liked the credits. I thought it was kind of cool.
The opening credits?
Uh-huh. Yeah, with the floating, glowing spores, the meteor shower. It didn't look realistic, but it still looked kind of neat. Mm-hmm. I thought, what did you think about the effects of the plants, like, kind of creeping? I thought they were all right.
Yeah,
like when you get like a little tendril creeping up on someone who's not noticing it yet.
The hospital scenes were really good. I liked those.
Right,
and
where he's trying to find anybody in that abandoned hospital.
The blind people scattering around London.
Mm-hmm. Initially, I thought maybe it causes you to go blind, and then maybe it causes you to start going crazy.
Mad.
Yeah, but that didn't happen. That would have been better.
The electric fence, which we talked about.
Right, yeah, I liked the electric fence part.
And the lighthouse scenes. Those were good.
Yeah, I liked those too. I liked that couple.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. We got a dead dog alert in this one. The plants kill a dog at one point.
I wrote that down.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote that down in the minuses.
And we said, I liked the part on the plane and the ships where you suddenly realize, oh my God, who's driving this thing? And are they blind like me? And I thought some of the effects of the Triffids breaking into the clinic at Halifax was cool, breaking through those doors. I liked that. I like any movie where you have to barricade yourself in somewhere. So I liked Tom and Karen barricading themselves in that lighthouse.
Of course.
Because it's kind of like, Night of the Living Dead.
Or
any other movie where they're barricading themselves in somewhere. Yeah. But, and the matte shots, I thought, with the fires in the background and the cities burning, I thought those were pretty well done. Mm-hmm. So those are my pluses. Oh, and I like the ending. I like the simplicity of how you kill these things. So you kill them with what?
Kindness?
No. You kill them with what?
Water.
Salt water. It has to be salt water. Because you pour water on them, they're just going to grow bigger. But you pour salt water on them, and they melt into a goo.
So literally all they could do, grab salt, get some water, and go,
right.
Hola.
Like the same thing you do if you're fighting giant slugs, I guess. Mm. But I liked how they're in the lighthouse, and they find out what to do to kill them, and they're spraying them with the salt water through the hose. And then they all start gooing and dripping down the spiral staircase. I like that. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Minuses.
Yeah, we don't have a Serling spotlight for this.
No Serling spotlight. Okay, yeah. Fair enough. I get that this wouldn't be a movie that an 11-year-old kid would be super excited about.
Yeah, but it's a decent sci-fi horror film.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's impressive if you're ever talking to somebody about sci-fi horror and you're talking about like nature gone amok. You could bring up, hey, have you ever seen Day of the Triffids where the killer plants attack London? And I'll be like, what? And you'll be like, yeah. And they'll be like, huh? And you'll be like, mm-hmm. And they'll be like, are you sure? And you'll be like,
Dad,
yeah.
okay. Dad.
And you'll be like, prove it. And you'll be like, I can't. You have to go on YouTube to find it. And they'll be like, what? And you'll be like, mm-hmm.
Dad!
Okay.
All right. The minuses. The music plays a bit too much.
I didn't mind the music. I thought it was all right.
Mm. And they were really pushing it with...
And the creature effects are a minus here. For sure. They don't seem threatening.
They all looked the same. Like, look at that poster. That's threatening.
I know. Didn't work. Didn't quite work.
Didn't work at all. So that's it for our minuses.
Okay. How about SGS moments? Any SGSs?
Serling got sad.
Yeah, with Tina. And the dog. But yeah, no real scares, no real jumps in this for you. Pretty tame, like we said. Let's go coolest kill, though. There are a couple of kills in this. There is a little bit of violence. So
ones,
coolest kill. 3, 2, 1, the
Tina.
doctor.
Ooh.
Okay.
I was very sad that Tina died, but she died in an epic way.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of. She was like so close to safety. She was using the wall to get around because she was like...
Yeah, so she was trying to get out of the chateau.
Yeah, she was like,
Bill and Susan and Christine are at the car. So like, come on.
Yeah.
And she's so close to them. And then she just gets cut off by these Triffids. And she's blind.
Yeah, so the Triffids are just surrounding her, and she can't see them.
Yeah.
So...
She's doing her best to fight, but she can't really.
Yeah. And they just surround her.
Because she's a girl. Ow!
I hate you.
So that's Tina, right?
Yeah.
Your coolest kill. Mine was the doctor. So Bill wakes up in the hospital, finds the doctor eventually, who's supposed to take his bandages off, but the doctor's blind. And then the doctor jumps out the window. He realizes that without his sight, his life, his work is gone. And this is where, again, I originally thought, well, maybe seeing these weird meteors coming down not only takes your vision away, but also took at least part of your sanity. Turns out that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But look, there's slim pickings in terms of kills in this movie, so I'm going with that one.
Even though he kills himself.
Huh.
Monster plants aren't really responsible, are they?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Unsatisfying coolest kill.
Yeah, okay.
But I gotta go with my gut. Fight, flight, freeze.
Oh, who will fight?
Yeah.
Who'll be given a fight? And who's just probably gonna pop up a freeze?
Oh.
I think we got some stuff for this. Fight, obviously.
Everyone fights.
Yeah, Bill puts up that
Tina.
electric fence.
And Tom and Karen fight all the way up the stair. No, they flight up the staircase,
Right.
but then they come back down to fight.
Well, yeah, once they figure out what kills them, then they start
they're
fighting
like,
their way
"Hey."
back down. That's kind of cool. I like
And
that.
then they flood their house.
So that's fight and flight. Anybody freeze? Here we got a couple of freezes. Tina freezes when but she kind of fights and then freezes. I don't know. Karen freezes in the lighthouse when they get drawn outside.
Tom.
How does he freeze?
Because like once
He fights with an axe. He tries to chop him
I
up.
know, but like once he sees him, he's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Tomato.
So what do you think this
Also-
got on Rotten Tomatoes? Day of the Triffids. And let me start by saying it probably got higher than you want to give it.
52%.
No, it's got 78%.
What?
I think some people see this as a hard to find, overlooked little gem of 60s sci-fi
Wrong.
horror. So, but 78%, that puts it on par with the movie Holes, which you read that book for school. A Complete Unknown. Do you know about this movie?
No.
That's a joke. It's about Bob Dylan, but it's a complete unknown to you. A movie
I
called
know.
Bad Santa, which is funny. Fast Times at Ridgemont High,
Yay!
which you shouldn't know, but you do. That also had 78%. And Harry Potter and Order of the Phoenix had 78%. Are you ready?
Yes.
It's your favorite. What's the time for, Serling?
Guess.
Guess the tomato. So tell everyone how we play this game.
So Dad finds a movie that also scored the same amount on Rotten Tomatoes
Right.
as this. And he gives me questions, obscure at first, then they get easier and easier.
Yep.
And we have I have 5 chances. And
Yes.
feel free to play at home.
Yes, there you go. Play along at home if you want.
Don't.
So this 78% movie on Rotten Tomatoes for 5 points. If you get it after this clue, you get 5 points.
Oh, yeah.
A guy I sat next to at a Rush concert is the star of this
School of Rock.
78% movie. What?
School of Rock.
You're right with the actor, but
No.
you're wrong with the movie. So for 4 points, it's a semi-scary movie, but there's a lot of comedy in it as well. Because it has a lot of monsters in it.
How long ago have we seen this?
You've seen this a bunch. So that's for 4 points.
Okay. Let me think.
Jack Black,
Monsters
monsters, and funny.
and funny.
Oh, Serling, are we going down to 3 points?
No. No.
All right, 3 points. It features a fight finale in an abandoned amusement park.
Oh, Goosebumps.
Yes.
Goosebumps.
Nice job.
What was the last one?
Abominable snowman on an ice skating rink. You probably would have gotten it for that. Do you want to go one higher or one lower than Day of the Triffids on Rotten Tomatoes?
One lower.
One lower, Thor. Scream 6, the one with Jenna Ortega. Not that this means anything. I always drop the Scream movies into these Rotten Tomato ratings. But I've only seen the first one.
Oh.
And you've seen none. Elvis, the one with Tom Hanks.
That should be higher.
Why? The movie? You didn't see the movie.
not
Or are you
it.
saying just Elvis in general should be higher than
Elvis.
78%?
I mean, he is already high. Pretty high up.
He
you
took
know
a
what
lot
I
of
mean.
pills. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 got 77%.
What is with Harry Potter?
And Sharknado, first one got 77%. One higher than this, Saving Mr. Banks, another Tom Hanks movie. It's about the making of Mary Poppins. And speaking of Tom Hanks, again, he's all over this podcast.
Damn.
The Green, wait for it, Mile.
That should be much, much higher.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
I
wonder when
loved
Tom
it.
Hanks is going to do another horror movie, so we can talk about him more directly.
Wait, Tom Hanks did a horror movie?
Yeah, he did.
What's it
Before
called?
he was like a big
What's it
star.
called? What's it called?
And it's like He Knows You're Alone or something like that, or Stranger in the House, or
When a Stranger Calls?
It's not When a Stranger Calls. It's like one of the rip-off movies that came out after that.
Are you ready for the Bondometer?
Yeah, explain to the audience what the Bondometer is.
So it's the 007 movies, the James Bond movies, and it's where we get the percentage of Rotten Tomatoes of this movie and we compare it to the
Yeah, because there's so
to the
many
Bond
James
movies.
Bond movies to choose from. It provides a good kind of barometer for us.
Yeah.
So 78%. What do we got?
There is no direct 78% match
In the Bonds?
Yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately. But we're between 74%. You only live twice.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Should have gotten
excited.
higher. It should have gotten higher.
I agree, but a lot of people.
But it's a bit
wouldn't.
closer to 79 License to Kill.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the second Dalton, which you haven't seen. It's good. There's some brutal, cool stuff in that. All right, so that's the Bondometer. How about our ratings? How scary would you say this is? What's our fearometer rating on this?
A 2.
Why a 2? That's pretty low.
Yeah. There were no really scary scenes. I was expecting that. Like,
Yeah.
absolute chaos.
The
They all
poster.
just look not menacing at all. They really give
they're
out.
a little clunky.
Yeah, these plants cannot harm you. Like,
yeah, although the actors did a good job of
being terrified.
conveying terror. Yeah. But yeah, I
they
gave
don't,
it
they're not scary at all.
I gave
Except
it a
for that
3.
hospital scene. That kind of gives it.
Yeah, so I originally had it at a 2, but then I started thinking back on that whole waking up in the abandoned hospital sequence. And I added that to the stalking plant tendril things and the scene where the Triffids are breaking into the clinic. So I upped it. So 3. How about the funometer? How much fun did you have watching this?
Not that much fun. It really lost me at some scenes. It was kind of boring, effortless.
Effortless means it did what it had to do, and it made it seem easy doing it.
Yeah, it made sucking seem really
Oh.
easy. You know, it just...
Oh, now... All right, I gave it a 4 because I did like the clever simplicity of the solution to it all.
I gave it a 3 for the funometer.
Okay. What kind of impact did this have? Impactometer. rating.
4.
Okay. Why 4? That's
Because-
not terrible.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's also not good.
No.
It didn't really have an impact on me. But like you said, the hospital scene is really cool, and I
Right.
liked that. That kind of...
And it actually reminded me there's a very famous horror movie called 28 Days Later where the same thing happens. Guy wakes up in a hospital to find that there's been a zombie apocalypse all around him. So it's the same. I think they may have borrowed it from this. So that's why I'm going to go on my impactometer. I'm going to go 5 because I think this movie may have had more influence than first pass might grant it. And the fact that the monsters are attracted by sound could be seen as influencing modern day franchises like A Quiet Place.
Yeah, that was cool. I liked that.
And the boarding up of the lighthouse reminded me of what was to come closely on the heels of this movie with movies like Night of the Living Dead. So give this movie some props for what may have established and set into motion in the horror genre.
Yeah,
You know,
but
6. I'm
6?
upping it again. You know why? Because I think
my God.
this book came out before Jack Finney's Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which has some very parallel elements. 6.5.
I'm leaving.
Okay,
if
6.
you up it again.
6. You ready for next time?
Next time on DDS HDD Spot.
Episode 2
yeah.
of season 4. What have we got?
We have another assault on American consumerism.
A
Literally.
profound statement about the absurdity of material needs contrasting the needs for human empathy and collaboration. A scathing critique of just how total and final a societal breakdown can be.
Are you yawning yet?
No, it's going to be good. Trust me. You're going to like it.
Come back for more D's.
D, D.